So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you have joined me this day. On today's episode of Legacy Hut with Parenting with Akinropo, today we are on episode 34. Episode 34 today. And do not forget that every topic, or rather maybe some of the topics I discuss on television stations, Ovation International Television, on RTV Decoder, Super Screen TV, Ben TV, UK, and other parts of Europe, Core TV. So every topic I discuss on this episode, that is what I'm funneling down to the episodes on Legacy Hut with Akinropo on Facebook and my Instagram account. The reason is simple. Not many people would have the opportunity to grasp the wisdom behind or even watch these episodes on TV stations. So that is so that nobody misses anything. That is why I'm having this episode here on my webinar. So today, what topic do I have today? The topic I have today is ways to manage disrespect from students and from our children. Ways to manage disrespect from our children and students. So that is why I'm inviting on this show today. I'm inviting everybody on board, teachers, school owners, parents, and every adult around the child. So I invite you to this meeting. So the topic is dealing with disrespect I want to thank everybody who has joined this webinar this day. From wherever you are watching from, I say good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have people from Switzerland, we have people from UK. I have somebody watch from Austria last week. So I want to thank everybody. I want to appreciate your time. So today's topic, dealing with disrespect from students and kids. So sometimes last year, immediately when the COVID-19 subsided and they allowed, some of our students, to really resume back to school, on-site resumption. While some schools were doing hybrid, some schools actually, resumed fully. And one of my engagements in that class, I was supposed to take a session, but before I was supposed to take a session, a teacher was really handling a topic, a subject, and and there was this one of the students. He wasn't really paying attention to what the teacher was saying, and the teacher just gently talked to this guy that, please, can you really pay attention? And the teacher asked this question that that you are disturbing the class. Is 17, is SS3, 17-year-old boy. The way this chap, responded to the teacher was not palatable at all. As a parent, I felt, ashamed of myself that why would this child, the student behave this way? But the teacher actually composed himself very well. He didn't allow that, situation to actually degenerate into something else that could actually throw the classrooms into chaos. So since then, I've been trying to what can we really do? How can we really manage this malady of disrespect from our children and from, from students? Because I feel the pain of parents, I feel the pains, of teachers. Most teachers, I see them the way, and I feel their frustrations, as to this disrespect from students. Looks like the thing just keep increasing in so much that we really want all this to really, to subside. But it seems that we are far from the real solution. Thank you, Mr. Alabi Taufik, all the way from UK. Thanks for watching. I thank you for all your support. So looks like we don't have solution to it, but we have solution to it. But the problem that we have been facing so far is actually the fact that we have never really sought to know why these students, why they disrespect, why children disrespect us. We've never really found out to know the reason why they do this. And at the same time, if we don't really find the way, or rather we fail to unravel the reason behind their disrespect, it may, we may not necessarily get the right answer to the problem. So that is why this problem that I'm discussing today. Thank you, Mr. Oladimeji Akintomide, watching all the way from USA. Thank you, sir. Nice job, Mr. Kinroko. I appreciate you. Oh my God, my chairman, Mr. Tulu Omoni. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your effort so far in propagating this business, the social business that God has committed into our hand. Thank you. I appreciate you for watching. Okay, so talking about how to handle disrespect. This is one of the topics I discussed on Ovation International Television, with Akinrokpo on Legacy Hot. So we have the opportunity to listen to it now, even though we are not able to watch it on TV. But this particular episode is still going to be aired some other time. So today, like I did say, going by the report of the teacher, going by what happened, what he faced from that student that he went to meet, he was so, humane in the way he spoke with the guy. But the 17-year-old boy, the way the guy replied wasn't really palatable at all. Like I did say, as a parent, as a father, I felt ashamed of myself during that period. So that's exactly what happened. So I looked at what happened. I spoke with the teacher, and at the same time, I had another session with this guy, and which in a way, he actually apologized, but I didn't really mediate. But the way he spoke to me showed how, serious he was, and he promised not to ever do that thing again. The way I approached the guy, I don't know whether he went to go and meet the teacher the following day. I actually counseled him that he could do that, but I didn't find out. But my main focus on that is how can we correct this malady? How can we really manage this situation of disrespect from our children? That is why. That is what I want to discuss about today, because about 6 months down the line that I invested my, research into this on how we can get this thing done once and for all. Thank you, Mr. Agbola Michael Ojomo, for coming up. So let me go straight. Why do these students, why do the children disrespect us at all? This is that's what I'm starting with from. When I start with that, then later I go to what can we do to really manage the situation, to really curtail this situation. One of those problems that I see that make these children, to behave this way is simple. One of them is kids feel empowered because of their exposure to information. Number one, the reason why they disrespect us, the reason why they disrespect teachers, they feel empowered because of the arrays of information they have at the tip of their fingers. Back in the days, almost everything we rush to our parents to ask. Almost everything we rush to our teacher to ask. Almost everything that we didn't know, we rush to our elders, anyone that we see around us, uncles, to ask them. I remember back in the days that once something just once you get disturbed about a particular thing like this, you run to your mom, your dad, your uncle, or one elderly brother around you. Sir, what is this? What is this? I remember when I was age 10, when I was hearing the embezzlement during the Shagari regime before Buhari, overthrew him. I heard about somebody embezzled this, and I asked my elder brother then. I was 10, my elder brother was 15. And I asked him that, all this money, where are they getting it? The money they are embezzling. Because I don't think, the way I see the government of governance, the business of governance is not a business that is engaging in any, entrepreneurship aspect of business, right? That was my thinking then. Then my brother now told me that when you get to secondary school, when you begin to do economics, then you talk about taxations and you talk about revenue, right? So that was when I got to know that, this is how government generates revenue. But now, if any of our children has any challenge in that light now, they may not even ask us. They just go to their phone. They just Google it. I've said it before that this is the generation that seems to know, virtually everything as much as adults do. Let me say that again. The generation of the children that we have now, they are a generation that seems to have to know almost everything like adults do. That is just the perception, because to them, perception is reality. To the generation of children that we have now, perception is their own reality. So, be that as it may, to us, that is not the reality. It's just a perception that they believe that they know everything as much as we do, if not even more than us. So how do we now bridge the gap? How do we make them to really feel comfortable that regardless of the fact that you guys have Google around you, you have Twitter, you have social media around you, you have, all manners of apps, to ask questions. Because I did say last week I was talking about time engagement with our children, and I remember that I've broken down the word time into 4 behavioral steps. I remember when I got to letter I said, if our children, if students don't get to know, if they don't believe, if they don't know, if they don't believe that parents know more than them, that is insightful and inspirational. So if our children don't know, if they perceive that we don't know much as they know, they may not really sit down with us to have any meeting with us. So even if we force them to have the meeting with us, just be looking at us like this. So that is the perception to them. They believe that they too know much as parents do. That's number one. Number two, kids don't see respect modeled or earned by older generations. And I believe this. Kids don't see respect modeled or earned by older generations. This is what I wrote. I said, probably the most glaring reason for students and kids to disrespect us is that older generations have failed to model it for them. When older generations failed, to model value of respect to children, when teachers fail to model value of respect to students, the vicious cycle continues. And that is where you begin to see them in that light. Let me paint another scenario. I was in a school some time ago. That was 2018. I was in like different schools. But I have 2 scenarios I want to paint here that really that supports this point here. One of them is, I went to one of the schools. The students, they were having a career day, and the students became rowdy. They were shouting, doing all sorts. And the head teacher stood up with a cane. Not even a cane, like maybe three or 4 stacks of cane in his hand. And he raised those canes up like this. Immediately he raised it up. Then the noise started subsiding gradually. All of them, they kept mute. maybe like 3 minutes later, right? Then after the class, after I finished my presentation and I reached out to the head teacher, I went to his office. I said, sir, there's something I noticed, that why did you raise up the stack of sticks, canes, when the students became rowdy? And the man said that is how I handle them, that I don't really beat them often. But if they don't see the stacks of cane, they will not keep quiet. Fine. I said, okay, no problem. It's okay. So, like 2 months later, I had an opportunity to go to another school. When I got to that school, the students became rowdy. Students now, we were one student. We will always be rowdy in one way or the other. So they too became rowdy, and the head teacher, she's a woman, stood up. And the woman just said one statement: rule number 1. At the mention of rule number 1, the noise went down. Later, rule number 2. Before this woman mentioned rule number 3, there was a palpable pin silence. I was like, wow. I almost jumped up to hug this head teacher, right? You can see the two scenarios. The first one became forceful just for children, or rather, the first one had to do something that will frighten the students, such that if they don't do it, I will beat you. But the second school had modeled value of respect. The second school had modeled value of integrity, of dignity, of obeying the core value system of the school. This woman did not shout. The woman just silently, she just said rule number 1, and the noise started coming down gradually. Before she mentioned rule number 3, there was a palpable pin silence. To me, that is modeling the right core value of the school, right, to the students. So the same thing could happen in our home. If we don't really want, if we want the indignity of disrespect to really cease in our home, what are the value systems that we practice? How do we model those value systems in the life of the children that are under us? Do we shout them into submission? Do we coerce them into submission? So these are the things we need to figure out if we really want our children to stop this malady of disrespect. If we really want that, take for instance those two scenarios from that school. So if we properly model this core value system, we model the value of respect to our children, there is no way they will always respect us. That's number 2. Number 3, it is what they see us do that they do. It's not about whether this is what the country is doing, this is what the president is doing, this is what the governor is doing, this is what the senator is doing. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about the leaders they watch on TV. I'm talking about the way we behave to them. How do we talk to them? Do we shout at them? Do we shut them down when they really want to, when they really want to hold a meeting with us? So we need to figure all these things out. So those are the 3 reasons that I believe that, that cause the indignity of disrespect, the malady of disrespect from children and from students. I just want to talk about 3. In the episode on TV, I highlighted 6 of them, but because of time, I don't want to engage too much of people's time on this webinar. I've decided to talk about 3. So how do you manage them as parents? How do we cope such as teachers? Equally, I have about 7 there, but I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 on this episode today, episode 34 of Legacy Hut with Parenting with Akin Rokpo. So one of them is this: The first one we should always do is don't ever raise your voice unnecessarily against your children. Teachers, don't raise your voice against the student. This may sound, a point that is not so popular, that I'm not going to come here and be saying that I don't do it. Once in a while I do it, but when I do it, I call myself to order. Do you know the reason why I do it? Because that is the way I was brought up. Because I still believe that many things that form part of my early emotional life, I still do them now. So until I begin to unravel them every day. At times they become part of our subconsciousness. We don't even know when we do them. We will have done them, but later the knowledge that we acquire, which is really about the conscious that we are conscious of, the knowledge that we acquire will always negate it. The conscience will always tell us that you have done something wrong, because I've opened myself to further learning. That is one of the reasons why I could know that what I did was wrong, and I call myself to order and immediately I apologize to them that I'm shouting. So that is one of those things. So when we shout at them, they look at us because they believe that shouting is the way of life. So once in a while, when they want to respond to us as well, or when they want to respond to teacher, or when they want to respond to any adult around them, they too shout. Because they've seen us shout at them, there's no way they will not shout, because they think that is the way of life. Don't ever raise your voice against them. Then number 2, ask questions and be kind. How many of us do this? Ask questions and be kind. Display that you are interested in them, and they have dignity in your own eyes as well. Even when you make demands, try to ask rather than tell. There's a difference, in doing this. At times we don't ask, we tell them. This is when we give unsolicited effort, unsolicited advice from our children. How do we do this? Request instead of require. Request things instead of require things from them. It is hard for another person, even things, to do this. Someone who genuinely shows them love will always have, an upper hand, over them. There is this saying, there's a phrase that says, kill them with kindness. Kill your children with kindness. When you kill them with kindness, they will always show respect to themselves. They will show respect to their friends, and at the same time to their siblings. They will equally show respect to their teachers, and they will show respect to outsiders as well. Kill the children with kindness. You can write that one down. When you kill them with kindness, you are modeling the value of respect to them. That's number 2. Number 3, take initiative in meeting with them. I told you what brought about this, the content that I brought up now. It came up as a result of the meeting I went to do in a school. I wanted to go and deliver a paper, and what I saw, was not palatable, and I had to intervene after the old class. So this is one of those things that I did. Take initiative in meeting with them. For every disrespect child, it is not the time we begin to label them rebellious. It's not the time we begin to label them the black sheep of the family. It is not the time we begin to label them all sorts, the same way they labeled that guy in the Bible, prodigal son. God did not label that guy prodigal son. Neither did the father name him prodigal son, but the people around named that guy prodigal son. Thank God the guy came back. So the same way, this is not the time we begin to, give them any name in order to hang them. Seek a meeting with them. Like the way I sought a meeting with that guy, the child, that 17-year-old student. I didn't know him from nowhere, but I just felt that it's my responsibility within the ambit of law to intervene. And when I reached out to the guy was so receptive to me. The guy knew what he did, and he told me that I am sorry, even before I spoke, right? But seek meeting with them, meaning that parents will have to go first. When you notice any act of disrespect from your children, you have to go first. Then what do? They know that people do what they see. Children do what they see us do. Before you ever demand respect from your children, before teachers ever demand respect from their students, look in the mirror and ask this question: have I modeled it for them? How do you model it for them? By having a meeting with them. The very person that I'm prone to avoid, those are the ones that, that disrespect. When any of my children disrespect me, the people that know me know, when they disrespect me, that is when I even move closer to them the more. Because when they are not around, I begin to miss, some traits of that disrespect. So that means that is one of the connection. That is how I even connect, right? So once I see any act of disrespect from them, I call the guy and I call the girl to a meeting. Please, what is happening? Why are you behaving this way? Let's trash it out. Before you know it, when they see the genuine reconciliation, because they know they're the one that did something wrong, right? But that act, the guiltiness is in them. They begin to feel, what is the problem? I was the one that did something wrong. And even the teacher or my dad or my mom came to meet me. That is when genuine reconciliation will really come in. Initiate a meeting. I initiated a meeting on behalf of that teacher that day with the student. Then later I went to meet the teacher and the student promised me that he was going to apologize. I didn't ask whether the guy apologized or not. So the next one from Legacy Hut with Parenting with Akinropo on television stations is demonstrate to them that you respect them before you expect it to be reciprocated. Demonstrate it to them that you as a parent, you as a teacher, do respect them before we request for such to be reciprocated unto us. We don't always do this, but we should do it. Then, excuse me. How do we do this? Sorry. How do we do this? We need to do it first. By doing it first, you have shown to them you are not above mistake. When you speak to them in an unlikely manner that perhaps maybe they don't even like you, or maybe you have not even spoken about it before, if you speak it to them that way, they will always know and they will always respond. Something happened in my house yesterday. We were supposed to do something when we gathered for the family altar. Then one of my children didn't just come out on time, and they know I will not shout. At times they start with us, and at times they don't start. So one of them didn't come until like 10 minutes till when the thing was about to finish. Well, I just entered my room. I slept. It was when I woke up around 3 a.m. that I saw the text message, and where she sent a message to me that she was so sorry that she couldn't have behaved in that way, that I'm so sorry that she will never behave that way again. And I replied, it's okay, you are forgiven. It's because she has seen that I will not shout, and she has seen that eventually I will always come to always tell her that why did she have to behave that way, what warranted that you did not join us on time. So these are the things for us to do in the way we can model the value of respect in the life of our children. Let me add one point with that again. The one point I want to add with it is simple. Let me scroll to it. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Yes, begin by living a life that is worthy of respect. I've mentioned something related to that sometime in the course of this meeting. I've mentioned it, but where the difference here is here. We can't get the value of respect in our children by mere telling them that we are older than them. How many of us does that? How many? How many of us does that? We always want to affirm our authority on them because of the fact that we are older than them, and because of the fact that we are their parents, and because it's a teacher. How many of us teachers that when we are, maybe we are teaching them in the class and we tell something to them that's supposed to be the answer, and one of the students stands there, "Sir, I'm not sure you are right. I think you are wrong. This is the correct answer." How many of us teachers eat the humble pie? And now, you check it whether the guy is right or wrong. And when the guy is right, do you go back to the child or the guy to tell him or her that you are right? Let us begin to do that. When we fail, or when we didn't do right, or when we get it wrong in the way we respond to them, or maybe they know answer more than us, let us always remember, I said it earlier on, that one of the reasons why they disrespect is because they think that they know as much as we do, even if not more than us. And remember, I mentioned again that is their perception. Perception to them is their own reality. Perception to them is not our own reality. So we must be able to know this. So when they know that they know more than us, it is our responsibility to really slow down and see that thing they know. And if it proves to be right that they know more than us, let's doff our heart for them. If there is any opportunity, I will always teach us. I will come here to talk about why it's so difficult for us parents to accept the knowledge our children display, and why it's so difficult for teachers as well to accept the super knowledge, the super answers that students give the teachers in the class. That's one of those things that breeds disrespect. When they know that you disrespect them because you are older than them, they will disrespect you. If they don't disrespect you just because they know maybe you have an iron hand, you are so firm on them. Some of us parents, teachers we brag that, we are firm on them because of the fiery look. They don't want to do that because no child wants to be beaten, right? No child wants to be beaten. While I was growing up with my dad, I never liked him beating me. That was why, I behaved myself. When any child cried in our community, in our house back in the days, everybody around the house knew it could never be me. But when I left him, I became a terror to somebody that didn't know any much about me. So that is the situation. But so if we don't show them the conduct of respect, we don't teach them the value of respect, we don't display it to them in the way they should know, in the way they should catch it. Because I say this, nobody really teaches value. Values are caught. Let me say that again. Nobody really teaches value, because it's possible for me to teach the value, to say that don't lie. You need to have the value of love. You need to have the value of integrity. You need to have the value, of dignity, value of respect, value. Everything I can say that, and it's possible I will not really, display that in my attitude towards my children or towards the people I see around me. So that's why I say values are caught. It is what I do that they see in me, and they too do it. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. Don't forget the reasons why they disrespect and what can we do to really minimize, manage, or even delete that indignity of disrespect from them. So let me stay for a few minutes to answer our questions. Okay, thank you, sir. What can I do if my son is aggressive to his mom but submissive to me, the dad? Mr. Daniel Owodo. The first thing you need to do is simple. Why they aggressive to you? Why are they aggressive to the mom? Then why being submissive to you? I don't know a lot of things, because when questions like this come up, it's always difficult to just say it, to just give the direct answer, because all these things, the son being aggressive to the mom is not the cause. This is an effect. So again, the guy being submissive to you is not the cause. This is an effect. So it depends on what you do to the child that makes him to be submissive, that makes him to be submissive to you. And at the same time, this submissiveness, the way I see it, looks vague. This submissiveness looks somehow superficial, somehow artificial. So we need to ask further questions. Like I did say, being aggressive to your mom, to your wife, it's an effect, not a cause. We need to know the cause. Then being submissive to you as well is an effect, not the cause. We need to know the cause. When I know the cause, then I'll be able to say this. But I've actually explained some of those things, that the reason perhaps why he is submissive to you, perhaps maybe you are either hard on him or maybe being permissive to him. At times, when children see that, either of the parents is permissive, they try at times to be submissive, and they try at times to be aggressive. But I just need to know a lot of things that happened before these two scenarios, being aggressive and being submissive. But I've explained few of those things that could actually cause the two scenarios. Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. You just solved the problem with my son. Okay. No problem, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Bumi Oduneye Adetoye, for watching. Bola, thank you for watching. Thank you, Pastor Mrs. Oluwatoyin Adeniji. Thank you for watching. So let's take more questions, please. Mr. Olalekan Olajumoke, thank you. Mrs. Bolandi Olagbemi Ajiboye, thanks for watching. Mr. Wole David Adeyelu, appreciate you. Madam Lizzie Zubi, thank you. Children do more of what we do than what we say. That's perfect. That's right. Grandma Fakia Humul Fukan, thank you, ma. I'm sure I got that right. Thank you, ma, for watching. Oyi, thank you for watching. Wow, this is great. I appreciate you. Thank you. Mr. Latunde Oluwabumi Judah, thank you, sir. Pastor Latunde, right? Judah, thank you for watching. My body, Agbola Michael Ojomo, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody who has shown up here today. The topic is dealing with disrespect from students and from our children. What are the causes? I explained the causes. Then what can we do as parents and as teachers to really manage this situation? One of those key causes, like I did say, is because perception to them is reality. They believe, they think they know more than us. So they behave that way. We must be able to figure out why they do that. Once we figure the reason why they do that, we will always know how to curb such excesses. I want to appreciate everybody who has been here today. Don't forget, Legacy Hut with Akinropo on Ovation International Television comes up tomorrow, 3 times daily on Friday, then 3 times daily on Sunday. There were 3 times daily yesterday. No, don't forget, on Super Screen as well, 5 p.m. on Friday tomorrow is going to be live, then repeat broadcast by 8:30 on Sunday. Core TV, the same thing. Ben TV, this is based in the UK. So the people in the UK can actually catch up with me for interesting and compelling episodes on Legacy Hut with Parenting with Akinropo on Ben TV tomorrow Saturday, 10:30. So thank you. I promise you I'm going to be here tomorrow, same time around 3 p.m. to discuss another interesting topic with us that concerns parents, concerns children, students, and teachers. So it's been an awesome experience so far with everyone that stayed watching. It's because of you these episodes, are still going on. Today is episode 34. Tomorrow we have episode 35 on Legacy Hut with Parenting with Akinropo. Thank you. This video has to end now. We need to release people to go back to their work. Thank you. But it's still going to be here. So after now, we can still come back to watch this video. The questions, comments, I will meet them and I will respond to every one of them. So I promise. Thank you.